Welcome back to Max's Muscle TV. Now we're not in the gym and not in the kitchen for a change. We're here at Lamana Direct for the love of food. And I'm here with a bloke who loves his food, Xtreme chef Peter Wright. What can we expect today, Pete?
Well, thanks, Tony. Well, today we're going to go through and look at some great shopping tips. The most important thing about great cooking is great ingredients and a good shopping regime. So the first thing we need is a list. We're going to take our list and we're going to go in and show you some great shopping tips here at Lamana.
Okay, let's go inside and check it out. Okay folks, we're in the tinned food aisle at the supermarket, which is where a lot of bodybuilders tend to go because it's full of tuna. Now tuna's great, we all know it's a good alternative. You haven't got time to cook chicken, you haven't got time to cook steak, you want a high protein, low fat food, nothing beats tuna. When you get tuna, Pete, you can get good and bad like anything else.
Well, you can, and you can get flavoured tunas, you get tunas with beans in it, tuna with oil, tuna with spring water, but you've got to really look at the labels because there is a big difference in the same product.
We've had a chance to have a look at a couple of labels here. Oil, Italian style, which is always on special. It's a good one to get. We've got tuna here in spring water. And when we looked at the label, it had 7 times less fat than that one.
Okay, and when we look at the label, on the nut tab on the back, if you look at per 100 grams, very important, that gives you the percentage. So if it's one, it's 1%, if it's 7, it's 7%. So in the one in oil is 7 grams of fat per 100.
This one had less than 1 gram, less than 1, so it could be 0. It really is low fat, and that's because it's in water, not in oil. I found a couple of other canned meats that we might want to talk about. The first one was salmon. Now, a lot of people think salmon's a good choice. There's a lot more fat in salmon. Let's have a look at the nutritional panel there. What percentage fat have we got there, Pete?
That's a 12%.
Almost double the oily tuna,
yeah,
and 12 times that of a tuna in water. Same amount of sodium, but you can say effectively 10 times more fat. So Pete, we've found a bad example with salmon, but we've found another good example, which is chicken in a can. Now this is quite a maligned product. We were talking about it earlier. No one seems to know anything about it, but when we read through the panel, it was almost identical to tuna.
It's a relatively new product, and again, lots and lots of different flavours. This one is in the spring water. You can get it in with mayo, with oil, with all different seasonings, but the spring water is going to give you the lowest fat. Now when you're looking at the nutritional tab on the back, there's 3 key things, and that's sodium, protein, and fat.
For the purpose of any proteins in a can, they are the 3 keys: protein, fat and sodium. Amongst the canned stuff we found this packet potato. Now, instant mashed potato, you think it sounds pretty bad, don't you? Really, well, you look at it and think, oh God, you can't get any worse than that.
Well, making mashed potatoes is pretty easy, but I guess if you're in a hurry, it's late at night, you've just come home.
This stuff's actually fantastic. We had a good look through the ingredients. It's made up of potatoes, some water, a little bit of emulsifiers, some sunflower oil, and a few spice extracts.
Skim milk powder.
Skim milk powder. So it's not so bad.
It's not about going home and making the mashed potato, but it's going to the shop and reading the label. Sometimes you get nice surprises, and sometimes you get horrified of actually what you're going to buy. So it's very, very important to read the label and to follow your shopping list.
Okay, Pete, here we are at the fresh fruit and veggie section, one of your favourite sections. But we're at a place like Lamana Direct. They only have the best fresh and seasonal fruit and vegetables available. What should we look for when we're selecting our vegetables?
One of the things that we always push are things like the broccoli, and a broccoli or all green vegetables, you're looking for the same colour, so it's all the same colour, it feels hard and firm, and you can see there's little ice crystals on that. Broccoli should be kept really, really cold.
Nice and cold.
Yeah, nice and cold. But an alternative to that is obviously the Asian broccoli. We use the whole thing, great in stir fries. These are great just steamed a little bit like that. But again, all the same colour. It's nice and crisp. So, you know, you get that nice snap in it, asparagus or beans, you get that nice crispness to it. It's not going to be limp and saggy, but a nice crisp, hard, firm, and the same colour. Very, very good quality. Green veggies are pretty much, you know, 365 days a year. You know, tomatoes are best obviously at the height of summer, but we can still get tomatoes all year. So, you know, we're pretty lucky here in Australia.
Yeah, we really are. And lucky to be somewhere here like this where everything's fresh.
That's right.
We've talked a lot about what foods to cook and what foods to buy when you're selecting your fruit and veggies, but once you buy them, how long do they keep in your fridge? How quick should you try and turn them over, or how regularly should you shop?
Well, it's interesting because good fruit and veg can be stored a little bit warmer than meats and seafoods and things like that. So we store them at the bottom of the fridge in the crisper, but you can keep them for 5 or 6 days or until they actually start going soft. But good fruit and veg will keep at least for 5 or 6 days in your fridge. When you're buying fruit and veg, buy what you're going to consume over the next 2 or 3 days, but buy good green fibrous vegetables, green fruits, grapes, pears, apples, things like that. and keep them cold in your fridge. Buying in usable quantities is probably the best tip you can get.
Yeah, we've talked about vegetables. Obviously, fruit's a very important part of people's diets. Maybe when you're doing a contest diet in your last few weeks, you don't want to have any fruit, but through the year with all the different athletes, footballers and fighters and stuff that we have watched Muscle TV, they need their fruit. What do you look for when you're buying fruit?
Well, fruit again, you're looking for firm, good shaped product. So it's all the same, no blemishes. And in a great place like this, you can pick things up and you can have a look at it, you can feel it. Soft apples and pears and things like that are not good, but those are the sort of things you're looking for, Tony.
Pete, that's fantastic. We've found out a whole lot about fruit and veg, and that's what we're trying to do, is educate people how to shop smart. And I love what you said about shop regularly, just get what you need. Which takes us to our next section, my favourite section, the meat section, where you can go every day. We're in the best country in the world. Pete, here we are at the meat section, not just the meat section, but my favourite part, the red meat section. Look, I get all excited when I talk about cattle. I love beef. It's a fantastic food, but there's a lot of variety. Now, we've talked throughout the nutrition segment on Muscle TV about going to your local butcher, about that being a great choice. But there's some advantages of coming somewhere like this. One, they've got a butcher on site. All your meat here is locally butchered, and you can go and talk to the butcher. The big advantage is you get labels, you know everything's fresh daily, and you get to read the nutritional panels, which you don't get at your butcher. So this is a great alternative.
No, it is great. A Scotch fillet is a very lean muscle, but it has a great big layer of fat all the way through it, which will melt a little bit as you cook it and sort of give moisture to the steak. But again, a very, very premium restaurant cut of meat.
That's actually my favourite steak. Look, I think I might take that one home with you. That is the best piece of meat you could ever get. Have a look at that.
So how would you cook that, Tony?
Oh, barbecue all the way.
Straight away. The rump steak is probably the tastiest piece of beef that you can buy, but it's always going to have that white layer of fat around the outside of the meat. You can see on the inside there's a little bit of connective tissue, but it's not too bad, but very, very, very tasty. And in a big pack, you're going to get better value for money. Porterhouse steak, again, usually available in a bulk pack. So, you've got a couple of days supply. They're cut into nice strips, probably a 200 gram piece.
Now, we're talking about what we spoke about earlier with nutritional panels. I've had a good read of this, and believe it or not, there's more fat in a typical sausage than there is protein. 15 grams versus 13 grams. An amazing amount of sodium, 720 milligrams, which was double the salty tuna we looked at before. So you wouldn't know that if you didn't read it. You get into a couple of sausages and you wake up in the middle of the night all dry and parched and think, why am I so dehydrated? That's why they've got so much sodium. They suck the moisture back out of your body. It's no good. They retain fluid in your skin, make you look puffy and fat, and it's no good for your heart. But you still feel like a sausage. Bam. Look at these Kanga Bangers. We had a look at these. Now, this is an amazing nutritional panel. They're about 20% protein, so 20 grams per 100 grams, less than 94 milligrams of sodium. So a quarter of what the best tuna we found. A quarter of the chicken in a can we talked about before was very low sodium. This is only 25% of the again. So it's almost zero sodium, less than 1 gram of fat, 20% protein. It's better than tuna, better than chicken, better than fish, better than anything you can see. I'm absolutely amazed. This is fantastic food. Looks like a sausage, smells like a sausage, and they taste great. One of the things we've taken from coming here today, Pete, is the amount of variety that they've presented to us. Everything is surprisingly so fresh. We're really, really impressed with Lamana Direct, but what really has got me is one, the prices and the variety.
So what we're taking away from this is, to cook well, you've got to shop well. So you need to plan your shopping, make a list, you need to read the labels, and we're looking for proteins, fats, and carbohydrates.
And low sodium.
And low sodium, all those 4 things. There's 10 things on the panel, they're the 4 main things, and variety. So you get what you pay for. You can go from eye fillet to diet mince, but it's all here in this great big store.
Well, Pete, that's it here at Lamana Fresh. We've had a great day. We're both hungry. I might get you to cook up that Scotch fillet. Thanks for today, and we'll have more right after this.